Hello, I'm Greg Berlinu, Mr. B, and this is a little demo to give you an idea of what the programming class is going to be like at Inch. Several of my Introduction to Computers students and their parents have asked me what will the programming class be like in the winter and spring trimesters. And so I thought I'd go 21st century and do a little video demo of what the class is going to be like, to give you just an idea of what to expect. A couple of the tools that I will be using is a software called My eBoard. You can see its control panel on the right side of the screen, and it lets me draw on the computer screen. It lets me highlight certain things that I want to highlight, and it lets me save everything that I do. It's like an electronic blackboard. So I'll be able to actually post the images I create on the blog, and I think it's going to work a lot better than just using a regular blackboard. The other tool I will be using, I've got to show you this. This is a mouse pen, and it works like a regular mouse, but it's in the shape of a pen. So it's a lot more natural when you're writing and drawing. So you'll get to see that in action a little bit later. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some highlights of the class. And so the first thing to mention is the scheduling. It'll be offered, it's a 2-trimester course, offered at both 12:30 and 1:30. The 1:30 class is a repeat of the 12:30, so you should just sign up for one of those two times, and that way we will be able to offer the most students the opportunity to learn a little bit about computer programming. My current Introduction to Computers students and last year's computer students will have priority to sign up for this class. I'm sure there will be plenty of spots available after that, so do not worry, there will be a spot for you, hopefully. We will be starting from ground zero. We're starting over. This is not a continuation of last year's class. We're using a different programming language, a different book. There's only a couple students that really went through the whole class last year, so we're starting over, and it should be fun. It'll teach you the first main thing that I want students to leave with from this class, is to think like a programmer. That's the main thing I want to teach. And part of that is to learn structured programming. Structured programming is a programming methodology, a way to program that a lot of the world's foremost programming languages use. So if you learn one language, you'll be able to learn a lot of other languages as well. It makes it very easy. The specific software and language we're going to be using is Microsoft's Visual Studio, and the language is C Sharp, a language that Microsoft invented. And the software itself is actually free. You can download it from Microsoft's website, but I will be providing all of the students with a DVD that they can use to install it. The download takes a while because it's a very large application, so a DVD is going to be handy. Unlike last year, we will not have laptops in class. They're not required. In fact, I'd say they're not encouraged. You can bring it if you want to, for the purposes of asking me questions on the program that you're currently working on. But my assumption is no one's going to have their own laptop. All of your work is going to be done at home. Speaking of which, I expect at least 2 hours worth of homework a week, especially after the first 2 or 3 classes. The reason for that is because the class is going to be mostly lecture, me talking, and maybe the students asking me a few questions about their homework and so on. Some interaction there, but there is no way that we can do the programming during class. I've tried that last year, and it was a disaster. So students have to be disciplined, self-motivated to actually do the homework. Programming is a lot like painting. You cannot learn to paint unless you paint yourself. You cannot just watch somebody do it and go, oh yeah, well I know how to do that now. Programming is not that way at all. They have to practice. They're gonna make mistakes, and sometimes it takes a while just to find one little bug in your program. But it's supposed to be fun. You are creating something. So any student who has a creative who has creative tendencies, likes to make things, programming is actually a great creative outlet. Our students should be comfortable with a computer. Preferably, they should have taken my Introduction to Computers class this past fall. If they didn't, no problem. All the handouts I did for that class are available on my blog, inchprogramming.com, and you can download them there as a single PDF file and go through those. It's nothing high tech, but I just wanted students to be comfortable with navigating around on a computer. So one of the first things that I'm going to teach is something called flowcharts. A flowchart is kind of a blueprint for the program that you're going to create. And there's a certain way of creating the flowcharts. And here's one example. It's not too complicated, although there's a lot of writing. One example I used last year to create a guess the number game. So, I'm sure you have played this before with others. You think of a number between 1 and 100 and you ask, okay, what number am I thinking of? And the other person guesses, maybe they'll guess 75. And you go, nope, that was too high. So then you try to guess lower, right? Maybe 47. Nope, too low. So then you guess again until you get the right number. So this flowchart basically describes that game using blocks and arrows. Each block is a step in the program. Is a certain task that you have that program do at that particular stage, and the arrow shows where to go next, what step to go to next. If the program were really simple, you would just have one column of blocks all the way down until the end. A simple example would be adding two numbers. There's a specific procedure for doing that. This one's a little bit different. So you start out with the computer selecting a random number between 1 and 100. And then the next thing they do is they ask you to enter a guess. It reads that in, and then the diamond shapes signify a decision point. You look at certain numbers in the program, certain data values, and you ask, is one equal to another? Is one greater than another? And depending on the answer, you take different paths through your program. So here, this diamond says compare secret num, which is the number that the computer picked, against guess num, which is the number that you guess that it is. And each path out of there corresponds to a certain answer to that question. So on the left here it says if secret num is less than guess num. So if we guess too high, then we tell the user you guessed too high. And then if you follow the arrow, it goes back to asking the user again, what is your guess? If the secret number is greater than the number that we guessed, so our number that we have guessed is too low, then we print you guessed too low, and again we go back and ask the user again to enter a number. Lastly, if our guess is the same as the secret number that the computer chose, then we say you win, and then we finish the program. All right.